All right, let's call to order the meeting, regular meeting agenda for April 24th, 2023. Can we have the roll call, please, Amy?
Mr. DeFilia?
Here.
Mr. Duffy? Dr. Fisher? Ms. Close?
Here.
Mr. Weinstein?
Here.
Mr. Beal?
Here.
Mr. Edis?
Here.
Dr. Manel?
Here.
Mr. Bohanovich?
Here.
Mr. Kamonica?
Here.
Chairman DeBenedetto?
Here. Salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The notice of requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the notice has been sent to the Asbury Press, the Coaster, and filed in the office of the Township Clerk on July 26, 2022. There's an emergency exit through the courtroom doors and 2 exits at the rear of the room. No smoking. Board policy, no new cases will be started after 10:30 p.m. and no new testimony taken after 11 p.m. All meetings will be video and audio taped and shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell phones must be turned off. If you need to make a call, please call outside. Resolution memorializations. Township of Ocean, Block 219, Lot 19, 1515 Logan Road, Ocean, preliminary major subdivision approval. I wasn't here for this, so.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Mr. DeFilia?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Dr. Manel?
Yes.
Mr. Bohanovich?
Yes.
Mr. Kamonica?
Yes.
And then West Park 35 Developers LLC, Block 3, Lots 13 through 15 and 16.02, 2105, 2107, NJ SH 35 and 777 West Park Avenue, Oakhurst. Preliminary and final site plan approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. DeFilia?
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Dr. Manel?
Yes.
Mr. Bohanovich?
Yes.
Mr. Kamonica?
Yes.
Case carried to May 23rd, 2023. First French-speaking Baptist Church, Block 38, Lots 71 and 72, 2795-2797, Asbury Avenue, Ocean. And then we have minutes for approval, June 27th, 2022. I can offer for that, right, Amy?
Yes.
Can I have a second?
Mr. DeFilia?
Yes.
Ms. Close?
Me? Oh, yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Adis?
Yes.
Mr. Bohanovich?
Yes.
Mr. Kamonica?
Yes.
Chairman DeBenedetto?
Yes. And minutes for approval for July 25th, 2022. I offer that too.
Second.
Mr. DeFilia?
Yes.
Ms. Close?
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Adis?
Yes.
Mr. Bohanovich?
Yes.
Mr. Kamonica?
Yes.
And Chairman DeBenedetto?
Yes. Okay. We have action needed for amendment to the ordinance number 2417, amending and supplementing Chapter 21 of the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance. Jim, can you summarize, please?
Yeah, basically it's a change in the ordinance to allow a half story, 2.5 stories instead of just 2 stories. And the half story has to be under a hip, gable, or gambrel roof. So it has to be under a sloped roof. And it still can't be any higher than the feet requirement. I think it's 35 feet in most of the zones. But so the height of the building itself doesn't change. It just allows people to use that section under a sloped roof as basically a third floor, but it's called a half story.
So we're changing the ordinance so it says they can have a half story.
Yes, that's correct.
Doesn't that make it more complicated?
No. If anything, it's less complicated.
Okay.
Because we define a half story, and a half story was never defined before.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
And it's the master plan. What you're looking at is whether or not it's consistent with the master plan, and the master plan doesn't address height of buildings or number of stories, so it's not inconsistent with the master plan. It still allows these areas to be single-family residences.
So all you need is really now a motion for somebody to indicate back to the governing body that the ordinance is not in conflict with the master plan. Simple as that one sentence.
Yep. I just want to make sure if anyone else had any comments. No? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I will make the motion that this ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan.
And I second that.
I'll third it. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Well, out of order.
You can second. You want a second?
It's a, no.
Mr. DeFilia.
Yes.
Ms. Close.
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein.
Yes.
Mr. Beal.
Yes.
Mr. Avis.
Yes.
Dr. Demel.
Yes.
Mr. Vladimir.
Yes.
Mr. Camardo.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Alessandro Nascimento, block 17.01, lot 8, 107 Adams Avenue, Ocean, zone R-4. This application subdivide a 20,000 square foot lot into two 10,000 square foot conforming lots. Mr. Paul Ettinger, right?
Yes, Paul it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We usually, this looks like pretty straightforward. We usually let the professionals read their reports, and then we'll go from there.
Let me swear them in. You gentlemen, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I do.
It's very short, so I will read it. It's the applicant's proposing to subdivide an existing 20,000 square foot parcel into two lots of 10,000 square feet each. One lot, proposed 801, will contain the existing residence. The other lot, which is 8.02, will be a vacant building lot. The site's a 20,000 square foot rectangular corner lot with 200 feet of frontage on Adams Avenue and 100 feet of frontage on Dow Place. It's occupied by a single-family dwelling that's situated on one half of the lot. It's located in the R4 zone, which permits single-family residences on 10,000 square foot lots with minimum widths of 90 feet. The existing lot is significantly oversized for the zone. The proposed two new lots will fully conform with one minor exception, and that is that the ordinance requires an accessory structure to be set back 10 feet, and there's a patio that's set back 5 feet. For about a 10-foot wide section of the patio is set back 5 feet. It could be corrected. I don't see it as a problem if it's not corrected. That's up to the discretion of the board. In addition, there's an issue about trees. Street trees have to be provided, 5 street trees, and it doesn't show any street trees. Also, any development of the vacant lot would have to comply with section 21-55.2.A of the ordinance, which deals with tree location and preservation. So if they come in for a development plan, whoever's going to develop that new lot that's vacant, they have to comply with that section of the ordinance, show the trees that are there, which ones are going to be removed, and then replace them.
Okay. Bennett?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple quick comments. The applicant should be prepared to discuss if there are any impacts to grading or drainage. It looks like there is no proposed improvements with this plan, but there is an outline of a potential building shown. And then whether any wetlands exist on the property and indicate them on the plans if they're there, as well as any buffers that might be required by the DEP. The proposed utilities to the proposed lot 8.02, the new lot that would be created. It looks like Adams Ave was recently paved may be subject to a road opening moratorium. And then just proposed monuments should be shown on the plan for the new property corners and a detail for the same.
Okay. So can you answer our professionals' questions?
Sure, we could address the items. Mr. Blitz is going to be our witness. He's our expert.
Okay, you want
Should he
to...
be qualified?
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
And you, for the record, your name and where your office is?
John Belezza, Buletza, Nelson Engineering, 444 Neptune Boulevard, Neptune, New Jersey.
Okay, you're qualifying him as a...
As an engineer, professional engineer, he is also qualified as a planner.
Okay. I think we should mark, I think Mark has it set out that there are certain exhibits that we'll mark.
Okay.
Exhibit A1 is the boundary and topographic survey. A2 is the minor subdivision plat. Let's revise March 23rd, 2022. A3 is a DEP letter of interpretation, and that's January 9, 2023. Then there are exhibit B1 is the board engineer's report, B2 is the planner's report. Are these all from 2022?
Yes.
Okay. B3 is crime prevention officer's report of June 27, 2022, and then B4 is the traffic safety officer's report dated June 15, 2022. Mr. Edinger?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I know that some of the dates that you'd read indicated some of these items were issued in 2022. The project has been going on for a little while. We were delayed somewhat because we felt it necessary to apply to DEP for some information in regard to address some of the comments that were made. Now, Mr. Belitz is going to go through the project and address some of the concerns that have been expressed. And if I may have a copy of the planner's letter.
What?
Your letter. Do you have a
Yeah,
letter?
I just have it on my computer.
Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Belitz, if you could just please describe the project.
The property is a double-sized lot, 200 feet by 100 feet.
You know, you could go through all that. I just want you to address my professionals, requests for the trees, the patio, those things. We don't have to go through. You're dividing two lots.
You're right.
You don't need to go through all that. It's
Yes.
really not necessary. We've heard it before.
You have. Okay. As far
So
as
like
the
we
trees
could
are
just
concerned-
cut to the chase. All right? Can
Start with the
you?
wetlands. You indicate there that you have a DEP letter of interpretation. Does that show the wetlands?
Yes, so if we could start then with the engineer's letter, item number 2 of 4, addressing whether there's any wetlands. We have a LOI from the state stating that it's dated January 9th, 2023, and they came back and said that there are no freshwater wetlands or any part of a transition area occurring on the property. So that takes care of
That's
that.
A3.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I just have a question on that. I'm looking at the LOI, and at the end of it, it's CC to Wall Township. Did anyone verify that was a mistake on who was supposed to be CC to, and not a mistake on which file was being referred to?
Yeah, that was a typo at the end of their LOI. They have the correct file number and the correct activity number, the correct applicant, and the correct lot and township in their letter. They must have just copied it from something else in Wall. I guess going up to number 1 on the engineer's letter, impacts to grading or drainage. On the minor subdivision plan, we've shown the conceptual location of the new house that has a driveway that's going to be fronting on Adams Avenue. The new house, I believe is going to have the same or very similar footprint as the existing house. And we are not proposing any changes in the watershed flow direction as occurs in the existing condition as shown on the survey. There will be some grading around the new house and on the driveway, but we expect that all the grading will be conforming to the township requirements and the floor elevations and so forth.
Is the development being proposed now, or will that be done at a later time when a plot plan is submitted for review?
We're going to submit a plot plan
Okay.
for the new lot.
In regard to the trees that you had mentioned, the applicant's prepared to put in whatever trees are necessary and required to comply with the township's requirements. So that we have no objection to doing that.
So there's going to be 5 street trees according to, is that what was in the report that I heard?
There's going to be a minimum of 5 street trees.
Is it 5 street trees? Okay.
And then again, there's 28 trees on the new vacant lot that are identified as I was looking through the survey that was online. It's with the board's packet. So there's definitely going to have to be a tree location, a preservation plan submitted when that house is built. And whoever is building that house is going to have to comply with that section of the zoning ordinance.
Would it be, maybe it would be smart to divide those trees over the 2 lots?
It might be very hard to do legally. I
Right.
defer to the board's attorney on that one, because if you subdivide them and they're under separate ownership, I don't know how you could possibly force somebody to put trees on somebody else's lot.
Well, it first starts off as one owner, correct?
When it starts off, it's a legal issue. I'm going to punt on that one.
What's supposed to have any legal issue? Okay. Let's start off with the street trees. That could be a condition of the subdivision. That's easy.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
who decides what kind of trees? Do you have a tree commission, or do you have the?
You have an ordinance.
Yeah, the problem is there's 2 ordinances.
Okay.
There's the.
Let's just talk about
development
street
ordinance.
trees first.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
street trees, it's the development ordinance.
Yeah.
And that should be shown on the plans. They should be shown on the plans.
Sure. So that'll be a condition of an approval.
It looks like there are actually 3 existing street trees on the lot that will have the existing dwelling. From the plan I was looking at.
Correct. I see the same thing.
Yeah, they're going to have to show street trees on the other lot.
Now the other issue is the trees on the lots themselves.
Tree location and preservation. If there's 2 ordinances that deal with that. One of them is the township's general ordinance, and the other is the land development ordinance. And since this is a subdivision, it would fall under the land development ordinance. So when that site is developed, since we don't know how it's going to be developed at this point in time, you can't come up with a plan. When it is developed, it's going to have to comply with the township's ordinance, and they're going to have to replace as many trees as they possibly can on the site.
So that one lot will burden all or the partial, as many as they can.
Yes, that's correct.
That doesn't seem to make sense to me.
I'm completely confused.
Don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, it's one piece of property
Yeah.
that has all these trees on it.
Now, the problem
Taking the
is...
piece that has all the trees
Yeah.
and you're subdividing it and saying
Yeah,
only that
okay.
piece has to deal with
Okay.
the trees. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Well, give to you another scenario. It's subdivided, it's sold, the other lot is sold, the vacant lot is sold, and it's not built on for 20 years. And then the person comes to build on it. The person living next door isn't going to want those other trees on his lot. Very likely, he may want them, but you can't say 20 years from now that somebody's going to have to put those trees on the other lot.
Right, I
It's
understand,
completely separate owner.
but why can't you make them put the trees on it now?
Because you don't know how many trees are going to have to be replaced. You don't have a plan.
Jim, is there a minimum number of trees per lot currently?
There the ordinance, there's a separate section of the development ordinance that says you have to have a minimum of 15 trees per acre, regardless of how many trees are taken down. So if you start out with a lot that's barren, you have to put, and it's a 1 acre lot, you have to put 15 trees on it.
So is it prorated for one that's less than an acre?
Well, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we're talking about a 10,000 square foot
Yeah,
lot.
so you're talking
About a quarter of an acre,
About 4 trees.
4 trees.
Okay.
Is that a burden to put it on now?
Well, that's not, the issue is if they take trees down, they've got to replace them. So it could be more than 4 trees.
But they don't have to be in the area of the outline of the potential trees. They could put it anywhere
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
lot.
they can put it anywhere
So
on
why
the
can't
lot,
they
yeah.
do that now?
Yeah. What?
Wouldn't that be easier?
Well, if they did that, they can't do that now because they don't know how many trees they're going to have to replace.
Well, can't you put on the parcel that's not being developed, it's subject to whatever the requirements are?
That's what I'm saying. Make it subject to that requirement of the ordinance, and then they have to replace
That
it.
At the
nobody's
time of the
guessing.
development?
Yeah, at the time of development, because you don't know.
Yeah,
They
we
might
kind of
take down 5 trees. They might take down 15.
We assumed it would be that way. At time of
Okay.
development, we'd have to comply.
The 15 trees per acre is a minimum. In other words,
It's a minimum.
okay,
that's
so if a
totally-
lot has
yeah.
10 other trees that they're taking down, they have to make sure they
Yeah.
have 15 on that
They-
thing
they-
plus 10 they cut down.
Yeah, say there's 15 trees on the lot now.
Right,
Okay, and they take down 10.
right.
Okay, they have to replace those 10 and have 15 trees on the lot, regardless of the other section of the ordinance that says you have to have a minimum of 4.
Okay.
Okay, there's 2 different things. One's replacement, the other is minimum number of trees. And that was put in case somebody starts out with a lot that's cleared.
Okay.
Yeah. And I understand, Joe, I understand what you're saying. I don't know how you can hold somebody to it 10 years down the road.
No, I understand that too.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if we had
Yeah.
a plan for these 2 lots,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and the thing is, somebody's going to buy that lot, want to build their house, and that house may be different than the one that's shown to you. So then you're back to square one again.
So what do you suggest we do?
I suggest that a condition of approval be that the development of that, I think it's 8.02, the vacant lot, be subject to the ordinance that, ordinance 2155.2A, which is the tree replacement section of the ordinance, and that as many of those trees be placed on the lot as is physically possible.
Okay.
Just how do we define as many as physically possible?
What? Subject to the approval of the township planner or actually it'd be the board planner or board engineer. And
And do they have standards?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
there's
been done
something that
before.
can be, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, there's something that can be looked at and
Yes.
determine how many trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wrote down subject to the tree ordinance at the time of the development of the
No, at
undeveloped
the
lot.
time, I'd say at the time of approval.
At the time of
Right now, yeah.
of now.
Right now, yeah.
Subject to the tree ordinance now, huh?
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah.
part of this
Yeah,
resolution.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Jim, well,
But I thought you can't do that because you don't know what they're taking down when they develop the other lot. I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I said. But the ordinance that's in effect now, the standards in that ordinance would apply.
Even 20 years from now.
Yeah.
But we're saying we're grandfathering, and we're basically saying we're grandfathering whatever happens in the future.
Yeah.
To say you have
Yeah.
to go, you have to revert back to that ordinance,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So we're basically staying with what our code is right now.
Yeah.
But does that make sense to do it according to the code as it is now, as opposed to when you develop it?
That's
That's what we're.
up to
I
the
think.
board.
I think
It's up
that's
to the
important to us because I think
Yeah.
we don't want it to be less stringent. We want it, and we can't count on it to be more stringent. So
Okay.
we want to at least recommend what it is based on today. I think, Jim. I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But will that hold up in an argument in the future?
What?
If the ordinance changes, would that hold up? If we subject it to today's rules?
What the other thing always is if there is changes to make it a hardship or something, they have to come back.
Yeah.
and say, look, you can't do this, and this is the reason why.
Well, I mean,
But it does mean another appearance.
Right.
right, but they are agreeing to it right now, right? So why would it?
No, I mean, the question was raised about if there's a change in the ordinance that may be less strict or something like that, and they need relief for some hardship. I mean, you can't predict the future.
Yeah. And what's, where's this patio that you, because I might,
It's by the pool, I think. Somebody stuck it on. Yeah. It's on, as you're facing the existing house, it's on the left side, the south side of the house, and you can see there's a patio. It's a square patio, but then portion of it juts out. 10-foot wide section juts out about 10 feet, and it's within 5 feet of the property line. I'm not sure what the purpose of it is. But, I mean, I don't see it as a big problem. Either way, you know, it's at the discretion of the board whether you want that.
so you don't think it's an issue?
No, I don't think it's an issue.
All right, so we'll grant him that variance. Anyone else? Did both board professionals are satisfied with the answers that you got?
I just had one other thing about the proposed utilities to the proposed lot. I understand that the development is not happening right now, but just if I don't know if utilities have been stubbed out or if has been any communication with the township engineer regarding the recent paving done on that street.
There are utility stubs for the water and the electric on the property already. The sewer lateral will probably have to be cut in.
Okay. That is subject to the approval of the township engineer. If the road is under a road opening moratorium, they may not allow that. But my report was over a year ago, almost a year ago. So more time has passed since then. So that is, it's not really the board's issue. It's more the applicant's issue. It's just something that they should be aware of.
Very good. Okay. Anybody from the board have any questions? No?
Well, I have nothing further to add. We could submit based on.
Okay,
Said.
great. Anyone from the public have any questions? All right, we're going to close the public hearing. I'm going to make a positive offer to this application based on, can you read through all the, Mr. Lexstein, all of the...
I only have one about the trees.
About the trees.
Right.
It's all about the trees, don't you know that?
It's all about
I
the
told
trees.
you
It's
this before.
subject to the tree ordinances, now in effect, will cover both lots.
And then also we're going to have the 5 street trees, right?
Yes.
Also,
well,
a minimum
yeah.
of 5 street trees?
A minimum of 5 streets.
A minimum of 5 street trees. We don't know how much there is.
Yeah.
There might be some
They're
there
proposing 3 on the one lot, and they need 2 more plus whatever else occurs.
Yeah.
Correct?
now. Those are the two I have.
Can I get a second?
Second. Boom.
Oh, a lot of.
That's down.
You give it to him.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Mr. Bluth,
Yes.
Mr. Eden,
Yes.
Dr. Manel,
Yes.
Mr. Vladimir,
Yes.
Mr. Kawanika,
Yes.
Chairman Granda.
Yes. All right. Can I get a motion to close the?
Before we close, just want to say, Joe, it's nice to have you back. I mean, there was a lot of pressure on me before, kind of keeping everything together, but I made it through, and just want to thank everybody for all the support that you've given me over the couple of months to run this thing. So, just thank all you guys.
I came back right away because I heard the trees are suffering.
So good to have you back, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay.
I make
All
a
right.
motion to close.
I second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.